Welcome to Pensare Basketball. It has been about a week and a half to 2 weeks since I've actually wanted to make a video. Yes, we have made plenty of videos over that time, but it doesn't mean I've actually wanted to make videos. And today I want to make a video because not since maybe 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, has something pissed me off enough for me to get really passionate about something. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle online yesterday about a particular play that I called out, Emmanuel quickly in transition, not making a pass ahead to Scotty Barnes and instead making a pass to the left for Ochai Abaji. Stirred up a huge controversy with a whole bunch of people saying I was wrong and that quickly made the right decision. So I decided to put it up to a poll, set it up on Instagram. I will show you the play. I will show you exactly why I'm right. And then we will talk about how to run efficient offense. We'll talk about what the Raptors are doing wrong. I spent the last 5 hours actually going back and dissecting every single play from the Raptors' loss to the Washington Wizards. Saw some things that maybe I didn't catch in the first time around. And we're going to take a look at why the Toronto Raptors are the worst offense in the NBA, a fact that is not talked about enough. Take a look. This is the data. The offensive rating for the last 15 games. Okay. Yes, this coincidentally timed out pretty much with RJ Barrett going out, but I want you to know that this is not just an RJ Barrett problem. And here are the Toronto Raptors. The Indiana Pacers are the worst offense in the NBA. They have been so all year. But the Raptors early this season were humming as a top five offense in the NBA. They have gone from top five all the way to 30th. If you want to believe that that is simply an RJ Barrett thing, you got to believe that RJ Barrett is basically an MVP candidate. But no, this is not just an RJ Barrett thing. This is a Emmanuel Quickly thing. And I'm going to show you exactly how Emmanuel Quickly is doing it and why Emmanuel Quickly, frankly, is not built for a Darko offense and why perhaps maybe let's just talk about what can be done to fix it, perhaps, because as Emmanuel Quickly becomes a bigger part of the offense, the Raptors tend to lose. There is a nice little correlation between his usage going up and the Raptors' loss chances going up. And last night, you lost to the worst team in the NBA, no questions asked. And this is a team, quite frankly, that you could not put up points against. I want to show you where the Washington Wizards are in terms of defensive rating over the last 15 games. They are 122. That is what they give up to. Uh, how are we still the fourth? How are we still with the fourth with the worst offense? Well, that's a good question. Perhaps you might want to ask yourself where the Raptors' defensive rating is over that span. And over that span, the Raptors have a top 10 defensive rating. Your defense is saving you. Now, if you look at simply all season segments, the Raptors' offense has plummeted all the way down to 20th. And their defense, on the season at least, is still seventh. Your defense is saving you. If you want to be honest with yourself, that's really how the Raptors are doing it right now. They're facing a lot of depleted opponents. They've gotten really lucky quite a few times at the buzzer. There's been a couple of, like games where maybe the analytics say you shouldn't have won, but you won anyway. That game against Charlotte where Scotty and BI get the back-to-back blocks, the game where Brandon Ingram hits the buzzer beater against Indiana. There's a lot of games where you were down and then you stormed back in the final minute. This team has been playing a lot of losing basketball. You don't just end up with a bottom 12 offense on the season by chance, but the last 15 games have been really, really bad. And it's not just Emmanuel Quickly. It's not just missing Jakob Poeltl. It is frankly the fact that, as Scotty said, the ball is not breathing. So first, let's talk about the play in question, and then we will get into this. This is going to be a really good live. I'm actually quite happy we're doing this right now because, quite frankly, I was not thinking of doing a live at all today. And we're also going to talk about how Chris Paul runs a fast break. Okay, so first and foremost, here is the play in question. Okay, this play is showing me right now that Raptors Twitter has no fucking idea what they're looking for. Okay. The basketball IQ on this app is very low. Thankfully, the basketball IQ on Instagram isn't very low. Now, take a look at this play. Okay. Now, I want you to tell me what the right play is, and I'm going to pause it. And if you're somebody who's not watching live, because I understand this is an 8 a.m. live, and a lot of people do not expect us to do lives at 8 a.m., but let me just make myself small here. And I want you to tell me what the right play is here. Okay, so Mamu passes to Emmanuel quickly. Good job. Okay, now, what's the right play? Based on the situation right here, what is the right play? Let me know what the right play is. Option one, pass to Scotty Barnes. Option two, continue to dribble up. Okay, I'm glad that you noticed that because the quote tweets on this play are making me think that I am taking crazy pills. Now, here's what Emmanuel quickly doesn't do. He doesn't pass to Scotty Barnes. Now, here's the context of why you 100%. Thank you. The reason you pass to Scotty Barnes is actually quite simple. Scotty has a one-on-one at the basket with CJ McCollum, which is very good for Scotty and very bad for the Washington Wizards. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Unfortunately, that's not what Emmanuel quickly does here, which is what he often doesn't do. He decides to dribble the basketball way too much. Now, what is the right play here? Now that he didn't pass to Scotty Barnes, what is the right play here? I will pause again for you to tell me what is the right play here. Option one, Emmanuel quickly reset the offense. Option two, freeze the defense a little bit, shot fake, and then lob it over to Scotty Barnes anyway and trust him to beat his offense, beat the defender at the rim. Thank you. It seems like YouTube knows ball, but that's not what Emmanuel quickly does. He decides instead to do what he always does, which is he passes to the open shooter. Yo, I want to remind you that Ochai Agbaji is open for a reason. Do you want to venture a guess what Ochai Agbaji is shooting on the season? He's shooting 20% from three. 20% from three. For the vast majority of the season, he's been shooting below 10% from three. This is like when Emmanuel quickly passes to Jamal Shed or Colin Murray Boyles or even Scotty Barnes in the corner. This is not great. This is a last resort. This shot is always available. Always available. Good point guards don't make this decision. Emmanuel quickly makes this decision every time. And this is predictably, obviously. Do you notice they don't even guard it? Do you notice they don't even put a hand up? That's not because Chris Middleton is, missing chromosomes. It's because they know that there is really no point in trying to deflect this shot or move Ochai away from taking this shot. Just like they know there's no point in really running Jamal Shed off the line or Scotty Barnes off the line. They will live with that. The Raptors have a larger issue at hand right now, which is they don't have shooters. But the issue right here is you take what could have been a presumably wide open dunk or very lightly contested dunk and turn it into this bullshit. And I've got this stupid ass app trying to tell me that I don't know basketball. If you don't believe me, if you think I'm just gassing it, look at this. Look at some of the quote tweets here. It is ridiculous. Hang on one second. I'll pull it up. I said, this is how not to run a professional fast break. Emmanuel quickly needs brain surgery. Look at the fucking responses, man. This is the right play. Got 256 likes. I said, hell no. Paint was already clogged. Open three was the right play, Goofy. That got 43 likes. This app is mentally defective. Get off of this app because it will ruin your brain. Some of the quote tweets were ridiculous. Where are some of the quote tweets? Hold on. Anyways, quote tweets not important. Basically, it's a whole bunch of people telling me I don't know basketball. So I was like, okay, wait a second. I'm not basketball god here. I think I know what I'm looking at. I've played enough basketball to know what the right play was to pitch ahead to Scotty. So I even diagrammed it. I showed the play. I'm like, look, this is what you should do. You should pass over or you should pass to. If you miss the first, you make the second. You pass over CJ McCollum, right? I mean, Jamal Shed literally in this game passed over the defense to get Brandon Ingram, who had sealed his man. Like, that is a good play. That is the right play. You trust your offensive player who has a major size advantage. But no. So I was like, you know what? I think I know what I'm talking about, but let me put it up to a poll. Okay, now I'm very blessed to have access to people. Ugh, my God. Nothing wrong with the pass. just that we don't have talented shooters. Medved Ted, the very fact that you are saying this is insane to me. There is something very wrong with that pass. That pass is a bailout for the defense. Literally, if the defense could choose your poison. Washington Wizards Coach Keefe. What do you want to happen? The last thing you want is for Quickly to make this pass to Scotty Barnes and for Scotty Barnes to attack downhill and presumably get a foul on CJ McCollum. That's the last thing you want. This is a close game, 78-83, right? The second to last thing you want is for Emmanuel Quickly to launch a shot. The third to last thing you want is for Emmanuel Quickly to pull out and reset the offense, because you're not a good defense and you're probably not going to have a great chance of defending the Raptors half-court offense, even though it's trash. The absolute best thing you want right now is a 20% three-point shooter taking a fucking shot that is semi-contested. Come on, man. You got to be kidding me here. This is like basketball deficient basketball IQ. Look, I'm not trying to be insulting. Listen, I ran this poll. Okay, I ran this poll on Instagram. I played the whole clip. I didn't just show a clip. I didn't just show a picture. I showed the whole clip. I played it out. I want you to know that 1 current, 2 ex Division I hoopers who played at really good schools all commented on this, and one even messaged me and said it's obviously the early pass to Scotty Barnes is the right play. There was also a Canadian college head coach who voted pass early to Scotty. There is also a current NBA player who voted, and I checked his vote, and it was pass early to Scotty. So it feels like if you actually understand basketball, this was a pretty simple play, unless you're Emmanuel Quickly, in which case this is not a simple play. So I want to show you what a great point guard does in transition, and I want to give you my rules for transition. First, let me give you my rules for transition, then I'll show you what a really great point guard does in transition. Hang on one second. We're going to learn something today. Okay, we're gonna boost the collective basketball IQ of this entire channel. Number 1, always pitch ahead to attack unsettled defense / a tilted floor. Number 2, force the shot blocker up to open real estate behind him. Okay. Number 3, utilize pace. Unidirectional sprint speed is way too predictable, and Emmanuel Quickly has no idea how to pace a fast break. Number 4, find shooters if the defense doesn't. If the defense covers shooters, then use their gravity to attack the paint. You often want shooters sprinting to corners. Why do you want shooters sprinting to corners? You want shooters sprinting to corners to open up the middle. You don't. Now, if the defense doesn't close out to the shooters, then by all means, find your shooters. But you need to identify who the fuck your shooters are. Colin Murray-Boyle is not your shooter. Scotty Barnes is not your shooter. RJ Barrett's not your shooter. Jakob Poeltl ain't a shooter. CMB ain't a shooter. Mobo ain't a shooter. Ochai ain't a shooter. You got 3 shooters on this team. Maybe 4. Jamison Battle's a shooter. AJ Lawson ain't a shooter either. Chucky Hepburn ain't a shooter either. Elijah Martin ain't a shooter either. You starting to see the point? Okay. So Scotty sprints to the corner. Defense is not going to give up the paint to close out to him. So guess what? He's going to be open. Now you have a dumbass point guard who's going to pass him the ball because he's open, which, I mean, let's pray that Emmanuel Quickly would pass the ball to Scotty Barnes if he's open. But if he's open at 3, he's open for a reason, because he has no gravity out there. Scotty Barnes is not forcing anybody to close out on him as a 3-point shooter. So Scotty should attack the paint on a fast break. He should direct his ass to the basket, because that's where he will be most useful, right? IQ did nothing wrong. The guy could have pump faked. You don't know what you're looking at. Sorry. You don't know what you're looking at. You don't know what you're fucking looking at. And it's okay. Now, I want to show you what a really good point guard does in transition. And I want to break down every single one of these decisions, because I think that it's going to help you understand what a great point guard does. And if you can see what a great point guard does, maybe you can start to understand what a not great point guard isn't doing right. Now here, why? Look at where Kevin Durant is on this play. Boom. Paint's open, right? So you have a lane. You trust this offensive player to make the decision. You don't overhelp. You trust that your offensive players can make decisions here. And so that's exactly what he does. But the paint is open. The big is trailing. He doesn't come back in time. The big is Zaza in this case. So you attack the tilted floor. Now here, once again, You start to see the defense loading up on the left side. You spot where's the help, where's the shot blocker, right? So here, all the length is lifted up. You have proper spacing to attack. And Eric Gordon does just that. That's why you have talented offensive players. In this situation, RJ Barrett is the closest thing you have to this type of player on your team attacking downhill. RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram are all good pitch ahead candidates for that stuff. Ochai Agbaji, Grady Dick, maybe not so much. Here, once again, you make this pass because you see this defense over helping and they're way too high. They're high, which opens this entire driving lane for him to attack without the big man back. Any one thing can change this entire equation, but you have to read the floor, right? So here, that's not a very skilled offensive player, but Ochai Agbaji and Grady Dick can make an open layup if you give them the right situation. Now here, you'll see Chris Paul sort of drag it a little bit. He's going to drag it. What's the right play? The right play is to attack once again with a skilled offensive player attacking an open paint. You always want to attack a tilted floor. The defense is not playing this correctly. And so you consistently want, look at this. The offensive player has 2 steps on the defense. You don't make this pass here, this pass is gone. You have to reset. But here, you see that there is an advantage because there's no shot blocker back. You always want skilled offensive players attacking an open paint. You always want that. You should never, ever take that away, ever. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Do you notice the defense is clustered in the middle? So where should the pass be? It should be away from the defense so that the offensive player can force a closeout. Here comes the closeout. What do you do on the run attack there? Now, what is the right play here? There's 2 right plays. Number 1, take the shot. Number 2, lob it up. You have good offensive rebounding position. And I guarantee you if that was Chris Paul, that's a lob to Nene. But doesn't matter. It's an open shot. Once again, attack the tilted floor. You see this over and over and over again with Chris Paul, Jason Kidd. And the reason I brought up Chris Paul and not Jason Kidd is largely because, well, frankly, people are just going to say, well, Jason Kidd played at a different time. Okay, so I actually want to take this off before I get a copyright. And I'm going to pull this up here. Okay. Let's look at what the Raptors do offensively. I think this will be very interesting. Okay, so this is just a segment in place. This is from the 4th quarter. Actually, let's look at the 3rd quarter first. So, end of second, let's look at the 2nd quarter here. Okay, so this is going to be a combination of offense and defense, but just taking a look at what is wrong with the Raptors here. Grady Dick has a rebound in his hands, just gets taken away by Justin Champagnie. Brandon Ingram behind the play, Emmanuel Quickley and Sandro Mamukelashvili are back. So there is some resistance if you close the gap and know what the hell you're doing. But the Wizards have gotten the MO. Scotty Barnes is not on the court. There's no shot blocker. The only guy who's even remotely a shot blocker is behind the play right now, and that's Brandon Ingram. So what do? Attack the non-shot blocker at the rim. No shit. Bilal Coulibaly is a very good athlete. Here. Now, this is what Emmanuel Quickley offense looks like. Wait for Brandon Ingram. That's what the whole offense is. It's just, and if you can't get Brandon Ingram open, look for your own offense. If your own offense gets taken away, pick up your dribble and pass to the most open shooter. Unfortunately, the most open shooter is always going to be your worst shooter. So in this case, guess what? Jamal Shead is not guarded for a reason. Ochai Agbaji in the dunker spot is threatening absolutely no one. That's not Shaquille O'Neal. And so you end up with this type of offensive possession to end the quarter. Bad. But here you go. You're wide open 3-point shooter. Are you willing to live and die with Jamal Shed 3-pointers? Is that the goal here that we're trying to go for? Okay, once again, Emmanuel quickly attack downhill, right? Now you get right to the rim. Champagny is there. And guess what? Blocked. So this was to end the second quarter. Look at the clock situation. Are you telling me that right here, whipping this over to Sandro Mamukelashvili, who has been absolutely on fire and is in that corner for an absolute reason, is not the right play? No, you forcing it over length for what feels like the 550th time. This is the play. And this is why I say you don't even attack. You're attacking a loaded paint right here. You got a defender there. You got two defenders on you. And here you're totally off balance. You don't even shield the ball. You just look at this finish. This is ridiculous. And again, there's 2.5 seconds left on the clock here. This is more than enough time to whip this over to Sandro Mamukelashvili and generate something better. But you know Emmanuel quickly is not going to do that. Again, you're not even launching off of 2 feet. You're not playing off of 2 feet. You're not taking contact. You're not doing anything. You're just heaving it at the basket. And this is something that Emmanuel quickly does, Grady does, Scotty often does, RJ often does. What the hell is wrong with this team? They do this way too often. Continue on. Here, Emmanuel quickly. Does this look like a man with a plan? I promise you, he is not a man with a plan, which is why he's looking around, surveying the floor to see who's the most wide open. Ingram does not expect this pass. You can see from his body language he's not expecting this pass. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Look at this play. Ingram is not shot ready. He's not in a position to score. You're not doing anything. You just dribbled the ball for 8 seconds, did absolutely nothing, reset this to Ingram. Now what are you going to do? Okay, cool. You pull Bub Carrington out of the way. Good stuff. Or is that Bilal Coulibaly? I can't even see it from here. Okay. No, that's Bilal Coulibaly. Okay, cool. Ingram, one step, pull up. So here's the question. What did his point guard actually do for him there? Is there any advantage generated at all? A point guard's job is to generate advantages for the offense, create advantages, spot advantages, milk advantages, extend advantages. That's what a point guard does. Good point guards do that in their sleep. What advantage was there? That shot that Ingram just took, that difficult pull-up shot on Alex Sarr, who is absolutely the defender that they want. He is one of 2 to 3 defenders. You didn't do anything to shift the floor. You didn't do anything to create any advantage for Ingram going downhill where he can get a slightly better shot, better matchup, nothing. You just allowed Ingram to isolate one-on-one against the guy that they want guarding Ingram in that situation. And he just made a really tough shot. You're going to live on a diet of really tough shots. You're going to have the worst offense in the NBA. And this is exactly what the Raptors weren't doing earlier this year. They were letting the ball breathe. They were moving it in transition. They were getting out running. Scotty, RJ, Yak was setting screens that were freeing guys up for cleaner looks. Ingram was playing a little bit more off the ball. And it's just not looking that way right now. Here's the defense a little bit. But once again, transition. Now, look at the floor. Okay? You don't have numbers. So you're waiting. What do? You move towards Ingram, right? Why? You're bringing your defender to him as well. So now there's nothing created here. You've just handed the ball to him. You don't attack, get a paint touch, whip it out to Ingram so that he can reset. You don't do anything for him. You're just in the way. You're just fucking in the way. And it's ridiculous because you're an NBA professional basketball player. You allow the defense to reset. And here, at least Ingram collapses to 2 defenders and then passes out to Mamu, who takes the shot and then misses, but ultimately Ingram does your job for you. That's what you should have done for him. No? Am I wrong? This little handoff extends no advantage at all. You're also jumping into a corner that's already occupied. You now have all the defenders are in the middle. The paint is wide open because you didn't collapse it. But if you collapse the paint, if you actually do the thing that De'Aaron Fox would do in this situation, if you do the thing that CP3 would do in this situation, this floor would be a hell of a lot less congested. But unfortunately, you don't have numbers. You attack early and you don't do anything. You just give the guy the ball. And we're already 4 seconds off the clock and nothing has been done. And here Ingram is just basically like asked. It's like fucking like fend for yourself, man. Fend for yourself. And again, Ingram does the great thing. He does the right thing. He draws two defenders. He kicks it out. This is what you should do every time. This is what you must do. The problem is you have nowhere near the scoring gravity that Brandon Ingram does. And that's why he's collapsing two defenders, because they know he's not about to fucking dry heave it under the rim. That's why. Unbelievable. Okay, continuing on with Emmanuel Quickley's disaster class. Just so projected. Like, my God, man, do something. Anything else? No. Fake. I'm going to the rim. This is a good shot. Are you selling contact here? No, you're not doing anything. Okay, let's move on to the fourth quarter. Okay. More Emmanuel Quickley. What have you done? What have you done for me lately? What does this pass do? It does nothing at all. At all. There's nothing advantage. There's no generation of anything. Here, this go screen. What does that decision do? Am I stupid? You've done nothing. Have you made this floor any more favorable? Okay, let's go back to the initial point of the decision. So you pass to him. Okay? Now here, what you could do in this case, since you have somehow, by some divine miracle, you have drawn the shot blocker as your matchup, which is Alex Sarr, right? What you don't want to do is you don't want to let Alex Sarr sit anywhere near Ingram's driving lane. So bringing him to Ingram to allow the switch is not advantageous. I don't see how this is advantageous at all. Unless, of course, you think maybe a minuscule advantage is generated by getting Sarr to switch, but they're happy to do this. They're happy to do this. They're more than comfortable with Sarr doing this, okay? More than comfortable. And here, Ingram is going to have, a little contested mid-range shot, and he sheds Sarr, but he could have done the same thing to Bilal Coulibaly. Here, I'm thinking the right decision, presumably, that you make this pass, number one, was probably to make this pass 3 seconds earlier, for starters. Number two, don't bring your man to the guy that you're making the pass to unless there's a reason, i.e., set the screen. But the screen generates nothing because you're just shoving him right into Sarr. It's almost like you're playing like the dumbest brand of basketball in the history of the world. You do nothing here. Now, to those who don't understand what I'm talking about, this seems like I'm nitpicking. This is not nitpicking. This is stupid basketball. I don't know how else to explain it. There's nothing being done here for anybody. Ingram receiving zero help, zero advantage, and just being told, okay, one-on-one, Brandon Ingram. If that's your offense, if this is how you want to play basketball, then don't touch the ball. Don't touch the ball. Just give it to Brandon Ingram and get out of the way. Literally get out of the way. Don't do anything. Don't dribble the basketball. Don't pass the basketball. Don't touch the basketball. Just literally get the fuck out of the way. Yes, this I agree with. And Jamal Shed would not do this. Here, Scotty. What is that? That's not a great screen. But nevertheless, this decision right here by Emmanuel Quickley. Bilal Coulibaly takes away his pass to Scotty Barnes, which would have been the right pass, right? You don't because you've already picked up your dribble and gotten in the air. Now you have to divert. You have to kind of make a snap decision of like, uh-oh, that got taken away. Let's do something else. So your decision is to pass to Jamal Shed. There's 14 seconds left on the clock, by the way. A Jamal Shed 3 ain't it, bro. You're down 18 for a reason. Okay, here we go. Scotty Barnes decides, I'm not going to close out to Alex Sarr. Why would I do that? Bad decision. Bad decision by Scotty Barnes. Okay, this time, Scotty Barnes decides to contest an Alex Sarr fadeaway jumper. Perfectly fine. Good job. Here, Sandro Mamukelashvili. I, at this point, trust Sandro Mamukelashvili to run point way more than I trust Emmanuel Quickley. Let's just be clear about that. Here, good pass. Perfect pass. Now, Scotty Barnes. Bad decision, right? This double comes. The second this double comes, you need to whip this to the back to the corner with Emmanuel Quickley. But I'm telling you, this guy was on another planet. You have no idea. I watched this game back. How many times this exact thing happened to Scotty Barnes? How many times he got stuffed at the rim? How many times he didn't see the double team coming? And this is another example of Scotty just not having it tonight. Just gets picked away. Like, what were you even thinking there? It's not even like you're not drawing a foul. You're just giving the ball away. Here, Brandon Ingram passes the ball to Scotty Barnes. Let's see how Scotty navigates. Now here, Scotty has really good court awareness for the most part, with the ball and without the ball. Here, what should Scotty do? Let's make this a collaborative activity. What should Scotty do? Okay, you have two choices as the floor is currently structured. You will see that there is a defender on the left and a defender on the right helping in this situation. But the paint is open. So you know for sure that you should 100% get to the paint because there ain't a shot blocker on the court who can stop you. Now, he's going to direct Ochai Agbaji to go, which is going to at least open up a chance to dribble into the paint. As Ochai goes, he also goes. Bagley stops short, immediately reads the advantage to Ochai. Now, if Ochai is a different player, this is a dunk. A wide open dunk, by the way. Unfortunately, he turns his back to the basket for some reason. I mean, I want you to just look at the play. Here. Go up strong, right? Why turn your back at all? This is how offense breaks down. And I agree with you. It is bad timing, but ultimately this is what you want to do. And if you were a real point guard, if Emmanuel Quickley was a real point guard, he would do this more often. Again, direct traffic, create advantages. What does this play do? More so than anything, it creates an advantage. Scotty knows he can attack CJ McCollum anytime he wants, right? The fact that he gets CJ McCollum on his hip draws the second defender. The second that second defender commits, he finds the opening, which is to say he finds the advantage. Now here, instead of being a finisher, Ochai decides to be a connector, which is perfectly fine if you are connecting to a player who is ready to shoot. Right here, this is a shot. Are you an NBA shooter? Are you an NBA player? How do you not take this shot? How do you not make this shot? You are literally being paid $32 million a year to make and hit this shot. Unfortunately, you decide, nope, I'm going to pump fake a really weak defender who is not by any means a shot blocker in Keyshawn George. And instead, I'm going to sidestep and miss this. Why? Can anyone tell me why? What advantage is generated? Your percentages go down significantly. This is a wide open three. Are you telling me this isn't a wide open three? I mean, the paint is already like when you don't take the shot that you're supposed to take, the floor does not recover. right? It's not like you have an option here of let me drive off the pump fake and then go find another advantage because the floor is already pretty much packed in the paint and everyone's going for the offensive rebound. So the shot you don't take right here, you're shot ready. You should be able to make this shot. Instead, you decide, I'm going to take the sidestep fading away. Ridiculous basketball IQ. Okay, here, you got Keyshawn George one-on-one. What are you going to do with this? You're going to attack. You're going to spin. You're going to get stuck with length. And instead of finishing over the defender, being patient, or having any plan, what you're going to do is you're going to pass to the only guy who's open. The problem is, once again, the only guy who's open is open for a reason. And that is Jamal Shed. Notice, Keyshawn George is able to contest this shot, but he is in no real urgent need to contest this shot. Let's go. More Emmanuel Quickly possessions. Once again, total miscommunication. They both go the exact same way, get in each other's way. And here Scotty is trying to set a screen. Quickly has no idea how to connect with his teammates at all. Instead, after this, like, I want you to really pay attention to this entire sequence. Just really pay attention to this. Does this look like a point guard who is connected with his teammate at all? Has no idea. These two have no clue how to play together right now. And again, this is on Scotty too. Like, shit, set a screen, set a back screen for him and allow him to get downhill. But the problem is it's not going to do anything. He doesn't know what to do. So, okay, pick up your dribble. For some reason, let's pick up our dribble. Let's reset to Scotty. And then let's cut. Of course, generating zero advantage. Now forcing Scotty to create with less time on the clock. But that's cool. Scotty Barnes can create. Unfortunately, Scotty is not seeing the help at all right now. And look, man, AJ Lawson on the court, Jamal Shed on the court. That's two players the defense is happy to leave open for threes all day long. All day long. If you're Darko, you're going to have to find a way to get Jamison Battle and, unfortunately, Grady Dick more minutes. Sandro Mamukelashvili. You cannot keep playing multiple non-shooters. Your team fell apart every time you did it today. I mean, you already have one non-shooter in Scotty Barnes. You cannot exacerbate your problem by adding two more to it. Like, it's bad. Okay, and I don't care if Scotty shoots 36% from three or whatever. Now, I want you to see the first play in this sequence where Jamal Shed has the basketball and watch how easy this whole fucking thing is. What's the play? What's the play? I promise you, if I open this question up for fucking Reddit or X or any of these people who don't understand basketball, they're going to be like, well, this is too congested to make this pass. Listen, man, NBA point guards are designed to make these passes, especially against bad defenses. One step, and this pass is an easy pass to your big. And you know what happens? That's what happens. And that shit should have fucking happened on that play to Scotty Barnes in transition too. Unfortunately, Emmanuel Quickly can't read a fucking play to save his life. I'm sorry. This just makes me so mad. This shit makes me mad as hell. Okay, here. Now, look at Jacoby Walter. Oh, my God. Brings the second defender in, makes this drive just a little bit too hard, allows that block to happen. Now, look, part of this is on Scotty. You know, you need to finish this. You need to dunk this. You can't be shying away from contact, et cetera, et cetera. But bringing the second defender into this because you mistimed this is just bad IQ. This is low basketball IQ. Here, look. Jacoby, maybe you need to make this pass to Jacoby. Maybe this is the right move. Maybe Scotty needs to just lob this up with his left hand to Jacoby, but he's got his mind made that he is not going to chance anything here and that he is going to make this. And Marvin Bagley just recovers. And Scotty wanted a goaltend, but you know what? We looked at the replay and it wasn't a goaltend. It was just a narrow block. So listen, Scotty didn't have elevation tonight. He wasn't reading the help. He wasn't himself. That's cool. But Emmanuel Quickly's been doing this shit for 15 straight games. With RJ Barrett out, Emmanuel Quickly has taken it on himself to basically siphon off the offense. People aren't talking about it very loudly. They should be talking about it very loudly. They should be talking about every single time Darko, BI, Scotty, and literally anybody has talked about letting the ball breathe. They're talking about Emmanuel Quickly. He is the one guy on this team who consistently delays decisions, consistently makes bad decisions, and frankly has zero basketball IQ. I'm sorry to say, Emmanuel Quickly is a very talented player. He's a very talented player. He's a talented shooter. He's a talented ball handler, but he has absolutely like no vision for how to exploit mismatches, no understanding of how to set up his teammates. And unless it is an absolutely simple ball screen, pick and roll, pick and pop situation with Mamu or Jakob, he is completely lost. His only resort, his only recourse in any situation is to try and attack the rim. If he doesn't attack the rim, he's running some sort of random handoff with Scotty or BI, or he's picking up his dribble and he's finding the available shooter. Brandon Ingram is a very good basketball player. He is not receiving the help. He is not receiving the help. I do not believe that BI has been unlocked properly in this offense. I believe he will not be unlocked properly as long as Emmanuel Quickly continues to play this way. The solution right now is to not try and pray on a miracle that Emmanuel Quickly learns how to play basketball at a high level or suddenly develops some sort of CP3 level basketball IQ. That ain't going to happen. At this point, at 26 years old, if you don't have it, you're not about to develop it. I've never seen a player develop this late in terms of point guard skills. So at this point, you have a lemon on your hands. Use the lemon for what he actually is, which is an off-ball guard. He is a shooting guard. Think of him like Colin Sexton. Do you know why the Hornets would rather run their offense through LaMelo Ball and Con Knipple than Colin Sexton? Because Colin Sexton ain't that dude. LaMelo is that dude. So you may not have a LaMelo level creator on your team. And I'll agree with that. Scotty and BI are not LaMelo level creators in terms of, reading coverages and having a natural feel for the point guard position, but they're better at it than Emmanuel Quickly. RJ Barrett is better at it than Emmanuel Quickly. At this point, Mamu is better at it than Emmanuel Quickly. Jamal Shed is better at it than Emmanuel Quickly. And honestly, I kept thinking about it watching this game. There might be another player on this team who might be better at it than Emmanuel Quickly too, and that might be CMB. So listen, I got to say, this game was frustrating as hell to watch. Obviously, the post game live shared that, but I wanted to go into a little bit more detail in terms of why this particular play with Emmanuel Quickly pissed me right the hell off, why the response on X absolutely pissed me off, and why I do not think that the average person who's watching these games has any idea what the Raptors are supposed to be doing. If Darko wants to run his offense, you need better, smarter, more complete basketball players to run it. It's unfortunate that Sasha Vezenkov ended up going back to Europe instead of playing for the Raptors last year because he would have been perfect for this system. There are players in this league that are good for Darko ball. Plenty of players who are smart enough to play in this system. Plenty of players. Emmanuel Quickly ain't one of them. Ochai Baji ain't one of them. And quite frankly, there's a couple of other players on this team that just aren't good enough for it. It's not just a vision thing. It's not just a basketball IQ thing. Sometimes it is a completeness of basketball skill set thing. And yeah. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a beautiful, blessed Saturday. And hopefully this video was interesting for you. We will do our members live tomorrow. I definitely considered like doing this as our members live, but I felt, you know what, a broader population definitely needs to see this. So if you are a Pensare Basketball member and you have some understanding of what you would like to see me cover tomorrow in our members live, drop it down below in the comment section. Let me know, Rob, I want to see a video on Grady's decline or Ochai's skill sets or, Scotty's weaknesses as a ball handler, whatever. And we'll just, we'll do like a film-based one or we'll do a numbers-based one. We'll try to construct the perfect lineup. We'll do something cool for the members live. Appreciate all of our members. Appreciate all of our subscribers. Thank you very much and have a beautiful day. I will let you know I have actually not slept yet. So I am going to sleep now because that's what 5 hours of watching Raptors versus Wizards after 3 hours of watching Raptors versus Wizards after 2 hours or almost an hour of a post game live on the Raptors Wizards does to your brain. It makes you kind of foggy and cranky. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.